Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook, Demon Slayer. Unlimited skill points at the start. Chapter 1 died at the beginning. A feeling of powerlessness filled his body. Even wanting to raise your hand slightly has become a luxury. The scarlet and warm liquid had blurred his vision, and the severe pain in his chest and body was like waves of monstrous waves hitting He Yuming's increasingly weak consciousness. In front of him, a man was wearing a pure black high-end tuxedo gentleman's suit and a black cylinder hat. His slightly curly hair fell slightly from the hat and fell on the evil face. With a smile, a pair of eyes are shining with a strange red light like snake pupils. This person is the big boss in Demon Slayer, Kibutsuji Muzan, and at this moment, his hand is like a sword cutting Kuroba's leg into two pieces like a carrot. The scarlet blood seems to be squeezed. The ketchup that comes out of the press is average, and it splatters everywhere. I'm probably the worst time traveler. He Yuming couldn't help feeling a bit bitter as he felt the consciousness fading away, and the pain that was coming in bursts that made him almost faint. He really liked the episode of Demon Slayer, but he never thought that after watching Demon Slayer all night, he inexplicably crossed into the world of Demon Slayer. Looking at the bodies of Tanjiro's family lying beside him and the memory fragments of Tanjiro's cousin's identity inexplicably popping up in his mind, how could he not know what happened? The scene in front of me is the plot where the Tanjiro family was attacked by Kibutsuji Muzan, and he unfortunately happened to meet this fatal plot. By the time he recovered from his trance, the surrounding environment had become a hell on earth with broken limbs and arms. I can't just die here so uselessly. He Yuming kept roaring in his heart, but the constant loss of physical strength and consciousness proved that the time left for him was running out. The gold finger that is said to be a must-have for travelers. Even though there was infinite unwillingness in his heart, He Yuming's mind had already begun to rewind involuntarily before his death, and there was no trace of the golden finger that had been calling for so long in his heart. This is too deceitful. Give time traveling but not golden finger. ... After killing all the inheritors of the Japanese brand, Kibutsuji Muzan was obviously in a much happier mood, as if the shadow left by Jiguoyueni in his heart had been erased. The smile on his mouth could not go away for a long time, but he looked with interest at He Yuming, the only one present who still had a trace of self-awareness. I like this look of yours very much. I give you my supreme blood. Thank you. In an instant, Kibutsuji Muzan's arm turned into a huge and ferocious tentacle. The bulging veins and squirming muscles on his arm were like a ferocious giant worm, and then the bloodshot black tentacle pierced through it in an instant, collapsed on the ground and struggled continuously. At the same time, a large amount of blood from Kibutsuji Muzan poured into He Yuming's body continuously. With a huge amount of blood from Kibutsuji Muzan, any chorus here would feel jealous. Feeling the liquid continuously flowing into his body, and his body completely out of control, Kuroba thought helplessly, "Are you going to die? If I can survive, I will definitely kill Kibutsuji Muzan in the future," followed by endless the pain and dizziness instantly swallowed He Yuming. After the transformation, Kibutsuji Muzan raised his head and looked at the hell-like environment around him indifferently, as if he felt something. "Someone is coming, then we will see you next time. Of course, if you can survive." Then he disappeared into the darkness without a sound. At the same time, there seemed to be a ray of golden light in the sky that broke through the shackles of the world boundary and instantly merged into He Yuming's body. The sound of electric currents resounded in He Yuming's mind. Ding! The strongest upgrade system in Myriad Realms has been bound. The current status of the host is detected as extremely dangerous. Automatically detect the current skills. The only skill, Ghost Body, has been detected. Automatically upgrade the skill level. The remaining skill points are 0. The skill points are insufficient. System error. Data error occurred. The current remaining skill points are to perform automatic upgrade. Ghost Body, the current level has been raised to LV2. Ghost Body, the current level has been raised to LV18. Ghost Body, the current level is raised to LV53. Ghost Body, the current level is increased to LV99. Ghost Body, the current level is raised to max. Additional rewards, Perfect Ghost Body. Perfect Ghost Body. After a long period of tempering, you have been familiar with the characteristics of the Ghost Body and the perfect changes have been produced. Not only has the ability to be completely immune to sunlight, but it is also immune to the fatal blow of Nichiren Blade's beheading. Possess endless regeneration ability, attack power +20, physical strength +50. A red figure gradually staggered over from the edge of the forest, and looked at the Shira field-like scene in the hut with a terrified expression. Nezuko, what's wrong with you? What's the matter? What happened? Cousin Kuroba, Mom, Hanako, Takeo, Shigeru, Rokuda. Only Nezuko still has body temperature. Nezuko, hold on. Brother will take you to see a doctor now, you must hold on. At the edge of the forest, Kibutsuji Muzan stopped his walking-like pace slightly under the shadow of big trees covered with winter snow. One heart has stopped beating and has been disconnected from me. Life is really fragile. However, at the same time, in the silent corpse, there was a strong and powerful heart-beating sound that gradually became denser after it stopped, and the heavy coercion gradually became stronger and stronger with the beating of the heart. Chapter 2. Did I survive? Feeling the powerful force all over his body, Haeyuming couldn't help touching his blood-stained cheek subconsciously. So, have I turned into a ghost? No, it's already daytime now. If I have turned into a ghost, I should have been reduced to ashes. Feeling the sunlight pouring in from the window, Haeyuming felt for the first time it's such a beautiful thing to be alive. If he hadn't turned into a ghost, then what was he now? He hadn't forgotten the severe pain he felt on his body yesterday, and those scenes definitely couldn't be dreams. By the way, when I was about to lose consciousness, I seemed to hear some system coming. Could it be that my golden finger has arrived? Thinking of this, Haeyuming's eyes flashed a gleam. Could it be him as the exclusive golden finger of? Travelers must have golden fingers, the ancients never deceived me. System, display the current property panel. Player, Haeyuming. Possessed skills. Basic sword technique LV1 entry level loading LV5 entry level ghost body LV max god level perfect ghost body. Remaining skill points at %. There is a small plus sign behind each skill, which is obviously in an upgradable state, but the plus sign behind the ghost body has become a transparent color. Obviously it has reached the full level and cannot continue. He has improved, and after watching the introduction of the cheat-like perfect ghost body, he finally understands how he was rescued from the hands of the god of death. He has reached the perfect ghost body, and it can be said that he is a more perfect ghost than Kibutsuji Muzan. Even Kibutsuji Muzan's only characteristic of being afraid of the fatal damage of sunlight has been strengthened. But what's the matter with the garbled characters behind the remaining skill points? Shouldn't it be a specific value? Could it be that there was a bug when the golden finger passed through my body, so can I still use it? A string of garbled characters. Haeyuming's mouth twitched. Haeyuming looked at his empty skill panel, hesitated for a while and decided to try to add points to his skills. Basic swordsmanship, the current level is raised to LV5. A memory instantly entered Haeyuming's mind, as if he had personally experienced dozens of days of swordsmanship training. The garbled codes still haven't changed at all. Since that's the case, let's continue to add. Let's go. Seeing such obvious results, Haeyuming immediately continued to press the plus sign without hesitation. Basic swordsmanship, the current level is upgraded to LV15. Basic swordsmanship, the current level is raised to LV56. Basic swordsmanship, the current level is raised to LV99. A series of electronic prompts sounded continuously in Haeyuming's mind like swiping the screen. After less than a minute. Open black lens bracket basic swordsmanship close black lens bracket the current level is upgraded to LV max. At this time, the plus sign after basic swordsmanship also changes to a transparent color like the plus sign after ghost body. Basic swordsmanship, the current level is upgraded to LV max, and an additional reward is obtained, swordsmanship insight. Swordsmanship insight, after experiencing unimaginable hardships, your basic swordsmanship has reached the pinnacle of the world, so your understanding of swordsmanship has reached a new level, and you can understand and gain insight into all other swordsmanship. Intelligence +5, attack power +10. In the next second, Haeyuming suddenly felt a warm current flowing through his whole body, and at the same time a huge memory instantly merged into his memory. A monstrous sword intent shot straight into the sky in an instant. Even if the whole person sat motionless on the ground, it seemed like a huge sword, releasing a sharp sword intent to the surroundings. Is this the full level basic swordsmanship? It's really interesting. Haeyuming slowly put away the aura on his body, feeling the surging power in his body and the world around him that seemed to have become extremely clear. He couldn't help but feel a little moved. This is only the effect of adding 10 points of attack and 5 points of intelligence to achieve this effect. It is conceivable that the full-level, perfect ghost body gave him 20 points of attack and 50 points of physical strength. What a terrifying strength he has now. But these are not what he is really worried about. What he is most concerned about now is whether the remaining skill points have changed. Thousands of skill points have been consumed, and there is still a bunch of garbled codes that have not changed at all. It seems that even God is on my side. Looking at the skill points that have not changed, Hae-Yuming finally breathed a sigh of relief. Then he turned his gaze to another skill, burden. According to the memory fragments in his mind, it is estimated that this skill was accumulated when the body carried a large basket of charcoal to various regions for a long time to sell. Although it seems useless, but now there are so many skill points, it is useless. Upgrade. Burden. The current level is upgraded to LV Max, physical strength plus 10, and additional rewards different space are obtained. Storage ring. A space of 20 square meters from another world has been opened up in the ring, which has the property of absolute static time in the ring, and cannot be loaded with living things. Looking at the light blue metal ring engraved with phoenixes that appeared out of thin air in his hand, a strange color flashed in Hae-Yuming's eyes. It seems that the additional rewards given after each skill is upgraded to the full level are different, some are directly given to skills and some are given to special items. Of course, what makes him most happy is that the garbled characters on the skill points still haven't changed in any way. It seems that my skill points are really countless. A look of excitement flashed in Hae-Yuming's eyes. With this system, wouldn't it be a matter of minutes to smash Kibutsuji Muzen in the future? Thinking of this, the corners of Hae-Yuming's mouth curled up into a sneer. Kibutsuji Muzen, what you owed me yesterday, I want you to pay back 100-fold from now on. Boom. A loud noise came from the surrounding snow forest, shaking a lot of snow on the trees to the ground. Looking at Nezuko who had disappeared around him, Hae-Yuming couldn't figure out what happened. It seems that Titua has contacted Tomioka Giyu, and the plot of Demon Slayer has officially started. Since I'm here, then let me save this sad world. Thinking of this, Hae-Yuming stood up. The surrounding environment was still full of blood and blood like yesterday. In order to cure Nezuko as soon as possible, the corpses at home were not even disposed of. All of them opened their eyes with the last terrified expressions of their lives. Although I occupied the body of this young man named Hae-Yuming, but I am him now, I will avenge your revenge for you, rest in peace. As he said that, he took out the axe with a wooden handle hanging on the wall, and struck hard at the metal flint next to the stove, and the flying sparks instantly ignited the wooden room. Kibutsuji Muzen, I will never forgive you for what you have done. With the burning house and the heart of revenge, a vengeful figure gradually moved away into the white forest. Chapter 3. As Hae-Yuming's speed continued to increase, the figures of the three soon appeared in front of him. Oh no, to be precise, it should be 2 people and 1 ghost. At this time, Miduzi had completely turned into a ghost, lying on the ground with a fierce face and screaming in the direction of Tomioka Giyu. Facing the ghost who had lost his mind, Tomioka Giyu didn't feel any softness, and put his right hand on the handle of the knife on his waist. Water Breath 2 shapes water wheel. The rapidly fluctuating sword is like a water wheel attached to water, accompanied by bursts of water splashes that seem to be splashed outwards, and with Tomioka Giyu's turn, it quickly moves towards Nezuko's neck at a speed that is difficult to touch with the naked eye. Chop down. Don't hurt Nezuko. Tanjiro didn't have time to stop, so he could only use his body to completely block Nezuko with all his strength. However, the full-blown sword move can be stopped just by stopping. Even when he noticed that Tanjiro was standing in front of Nezuko, Tomioka Giyu fully controlled the backward blade, and the aftermath remained unabated towards the two of them. Scratch off the neck. Basic swordsmanship pick. Seeing that it was the critical moment for the names of the two, an ordinary axe suddenly appeared in front of Nichiren Blade's attack trajectory, as if it was on that position from the beginning, and then moved upwards along the trajectory of the sword move, instantly resolved the menacing move. And Tomioka Giyu also retreated a few meters away with the changed sword move. The sudden change made Tanjiro, who had experienced a series of blows, flash a glimmer of hope in his desperate eyes again. Even Nezuko, who was still struggling on the ground, stopped moving temporarily as if he was stunned after seeing Hae-Yuming. Who are you? What do you want to do? Tomioka Giyu's eyes were filled with deep horror. Although he did control the sword move just now, the move of the lion fighting the rabbit with all his strength definitely captured him. With 100% strength, it was such a move that the young man in front of him who looked much younger than him easily picked it away with an old axe. He had never even heard of such a terrifying young strong man. If he hadn't felt the breath of ghosts in him, then Tomioka Gyu would definitely think that the man in front of him was a ghost that had lived for hundreds of years. It doesn't matter who I am, the important thing is that you seem to want to touch my lovely cousin just now, don't you? As Hei Yuming's calm voice gradually came, a figure gradually appeared between Tomioka Gyu and the two. She is already a ghost. Ghosts don't have self-awareness, they are just killing machines that obey Kibutsuji Muzen's orders. Tomioka Gyu said coldly to Hei Yuming, the knife in his hand never put down on Hei Yuming, as if as long as Hei Yuming made a move, he would respond. Really? Hei Yuming smiled faintly, put down the axe in his hand, turned around, touched Tanjiro's head tenderly, and squatted in front of Nezuko at the same time. Cousin Ming, you are still alive, I thought you were dead too. They are all dead, Mother, Hanako, Takeo, and Mao, they have all left me, ooh. Nezuko is just sick right now, just take her to see a doctor and she will be fine. Seeing that Hei Yuming was still alive, Tanjiro finally let go of his defenses and felt the warmth on his head. The palm of his hand couldn't help choking up, and the tears kept flowing down his face like the water that broke the embankment. For a boy who is only 15 years old, what happened on this day can be said to be hell on earth, and as long as Kibutsuji Muzen is alive in this world, this kind of tragedy will continue to happen in this world. Thinking of this, Hei Yuming's eyes flashed again, Kibutsuji Muzen must die. Looking at Tanjiro whose eyes were red from crying, Hei Yuming comforted him softly. Don't worry, Nezuko is just a little tired, I will make her return to normal now. However, Tomioka Gyu put away the knife and said coldly, impossible. The transformation of ghosts is irreversible. You should stop having such immature thoughts. Seeing the affirmative expression on Tomioka Gyu's face, Hei Yuming said jokingly, how about, let's make a bet, if I can bring Nezuko back to his senses, then you have to teach me the basic skills of water breathing, otherwise, I can do whatever you want. This is a great opportunity to go to Breath of Water for nothing. After passing this village, this station will be gone. Why not? If you can restore ghosts, then you are the greatest contributor to mankind, even if you let me die, I will have no complaints. Tomioka Gyu still had a face of paralysis, but his eyes were slightly excited as betrayed his inner restlessness. No, as long as you teach me the basics of breathing water, you want to beat my wife. I will settle the matter with you later about my cousin. Hei Yuming said calmly, for the inadvertent leak without the slightest bit of embarrassment. At the same time he swiped the axe in his hand towards his left hand artery fiercely, and blood immediately spewed into Nezuko's mouth like a fountain. And Nezuko, like a child who drank the milk he likes to drink, put his mouth close to Hei Yuming's wound and started to suck. It looks cute, even the ghostly Nezuko is quite cute. If his estimation is correct, then his blood now has the effect beyond that of Kibutsuji Muzen, and it will not be too easy to force that guy's blood out of Nezuko's body. Seeing Hei Yuming's suicide-like move, even Tomioka Gyu, who had a paralyzed face for thousands of years, widened his eyes in surprise, and shouted loudly at Hei Yuming, what are you doing? Stop it, you will die. However, a scene completely unexpected by Tomioka Gyu happened in front of him. Nezuko's violent eyes gradually calmed down, and the long scarlet nails on his hands gradually retracted and disappeared together with them. What's more, there are blue veins popping up on his forehead and that strong ghost aura. Instead, it is a more noble and holy temperament, as if the whole person has been sublimated. Open black lens bracket ding. The favorability between the host and Nezuko has increased, and the current level is extremely dependent. Seeing that Nezuko gradually returned to normal, Tanjiro immediately knelt beside Nezuko with tears in his eyes. Nezuko, you are finally recovering. I saw that Nezuko's eyes gradually regained reason, watching the two people who were protecting her let go of Hei Yuming's small mouth, Brother Ming, and Brother. Chapter 4. Looking at Nezuko who gradually regained his senses and Hei Yuming whose wounds healed completely, Tomioka Gyu was stunned on the spot. Even the strange things he has seen for so many years as juju are definitely not as shocking as they are today. That's impossible. Who are you? Hei Yuming ignored Tomioka Gyu's shocked expression, and said calmly, I'm just an unknown junior, but we have a common enemy and that is Kibutsuji Muzen. His only obsession in coming to this world now is to prevent the tragedy that Kibutsuji Muzan is about to cause to this world, and of course to comfort the wounded hearts of the young ladies and sisters in this world. Seeing that Nezuko got rid of the control of Kibutsuji Muzan's blood, Haeyuming breathed a sigh of relief. It seemed that his guess was correct. However, the essence and blood required for the transformation are somewhat beyond his imagination. Even such a terrifying physique can only regenerate 2 people in 1 day at most, but these are not a problem for him now, since Nezuko has after recovering some consciousness. Let's do one more important thing now. Thinking of this, Haeyuming showed a kind smile on the corner of his mouth, and while stroking Nezuko's head, he said to Tanjiro in an elder tone, "Tanjiro, cousin Nezuko has grown up, isn't she a big girl?" Said, even in the anime, Nezuko's image is already very cute. But after traveling to this world, I found that Nezuko's cuteness is simply many levels higher than in the anime. Even looking blankly at the 2 of them now, Haeyuming is almost turning into a cute girl. She is indeed a beautiful girl who is well recognized and praised from all over the world. Although he didn't know what Haeyuming was going to do when he brought up this matter at this time, Tanjiro still obediently followed Haeyuming's words. "Well, cousin Ming is right. Then since she is already a beautiful big girl, she should talk about marriage, right?" "Well, cousin Ming is right. What do you think of me? Why don't you marry Nezuko to me, so we can kiss more?" "Right." Haeyuming's smile became more obvious when he said this. Like a big bad wolf, finally, the tail appeared. "Well, cousin Ming is right. Wait a minute, no, Nezuko is too young, no way." Tanjiro, who was still approving at first, suddenly reacted to Haeyuming's true intentions. Hugging Nezuko with a frightened face, he retreated to the side of the tree, for fear that Haeyuming would abduct Nezuko back and become Mrs. Yazai. And Nezuko, who had just regained a little consciousness, heard such embarrassing news as soon as he recovered, and immediately blushed like an overripe apple, and continued to emit steam. As for Nezuko, the feeling for Haeyuming has far surpassed the normal affection between relatives. After drinking Haeyuming's blood, she felt that she had an indescribable affection for Haeyuming. Does it feel like it? Thinking of this, Nezuko's face turned even redder, and he didn't dare to look at Haeyuming, and buried his head in his arms shyly. "Ha ha ha, I'm just kidding." Haeyuming laughed happily as he watched the 2 react like frightened little white rabbits. Although he likes Nezuko very much, according to the normal age, the current Nezuko should be about 12 to 13 years old, and it will take a few more years to grow up to be able to pick. If he started now, wouldn't he be a pervert? Although it seems that there is nothing wrong with men being perverted. Pooh, what am I thinking? However, after Haeyuming's ridicule, the originally depressive and uncomfortable atmosphere was finally swept away. This is also one of Haeyuming's goals. After all, the 2 children in front of them have just experienced the tragedy of being exterminated. A little distraction will also make them feel better. Wait, I seem to have forgotten who. By the way, the paralyzed face seems to be next to it, but the sense of existence is too low to forget. Thinking of this, Haeyuming was about to look back, but saw that 2 fists had already appeared on his and Tanjiro's heads. Boom! After hearing a loud noise, Tanjiro's head grew rapidly at a speed that was visible to the naked eye, and a big bag that was still emitting heat. As for Haeyuming, he was naturally aware of this murderous big bag. The fist dodged in an instant, but Tanjiro, the iron-headed kid, was hit with a big bump on his head. If it hit his head, his skull would probably be cracked. "Have you 2 guys had enough trouble?" I saw Tomioka Giyu looking at the 2 people in front of me with a murderous look on her face. It was obviously a major event that could affect the direction of the world, but she was actually talked about the relationship between children. This is Haeyuming. Why is the guy so powerful when he is serious, but he is like a child when he is not serious? Then why did you hit me? My head hurts so much it's about to burst, hiss. Tanjiro, who was given a chestnut so hard, hugged the big bag on his head with tears of pain. He gasped in pain. As the toughest kid in the village, his head was never broken, unexpectedly it was swollen from being knocked out today. Haeyuming, who had escaped the catastrophe, also slowly breathed a sigh of relief and accused, "That's right, how can Kyu hit people indiscriminately, and it's no wonder you are hated by other pillars." With such attributes of bad temper and facial paralysis, although it is related to his inner self-blame for the past, it is no wonder that the relationship with other pillars is not harmonious. Sure enough, when he heard Yuming's questioning from the depths of his soul, Tomioka Gyu suddenly had a well-shaped vein on his head, and said to Yuming coldly, "You should be younger than me. And I don't have any disliked by other pillars." If he hadn't considered that the man in front of him had mastered the method of transforming ghosts, he might have fought with a knife on Yuming's neck. However, Yuming suddenly turned around and pointed the axe in his hand at the shade of a tree beside him. "Sure enough, you didn't realize that you were hated at all, what a pity. But before I fight with you, I think it is necessary to deal with the eavesdropper next to me first." From just now, he has been vaguely aware of an inexplicable sense of peeping coming from the shade, and there is only one person who will appear in this area at this point in time. Clap clap. A sound of applause gradually came from under the shade of a tree. A black figure gradually appeared in the shade and walked out, and the monstrous coercion instantly swept over the two people in front of them. Chapter 5. I saw Kibutsuji Muzan stepping out of the shade gracefully, looking at Yuming with admiring eyes. "It's really a keen feeling. I was still wondering why a ghost individual escaped from my control. It turns out that you are playing tricks. You were really naughty. I thought you died yesterday, but unexpectedly, such a wonderful change occurred. Do you know, my cells are constantly telling me that as long as I swallow you, I can become the most perfect in the world existence. I never imagined that I had been looking for the blue bana flower that I hadn't found for thousands of years, but I had a perfect antibody in your body. The fate is really ingenious." As Kibutsuji Muzan approached step by step, the face he looked at Yuming gradually became distorted with ecstasy. He never thought that the opportunity of real immortality that he had been looking for thousands of years would appear so vividly at this moment in front of him. "Then, for my eternal life, can you please die?" Kibutsuji Muzan put away his smile, and the aura of his body reached a peak again. At the same time, his body grew rapidly, inflated into a huge wriggling giant, attacking Yuming's reverse with endless coercion. As Kibutsuji Muzan approached, Tomioka Gyu's sword hand trembled slightly, as if every cell in his body was reminding him, "Run, run, don't resist, run. Impossible to win." However, something unexpected happened to Tomioka Gyu. Before he could break free from the enormous pressure of Kibutsuji Muzan, a figure holding an axe rushed towards the giant in front of him. Holding the logging axe in his hand, Yuming rushed to Kibutsuji Muzan's side without any fear, and sneered again, "You came here before I looked for you. If that's the case, then you stay here, Kibutsuji Muzan." Then he made a big jump and swung the axe in his hand towards Kibutsuji Muzan's neck. I saw Kibutsuji Muzan looking at Yuming, who was like a mantis holding a car, with a sneering smile on the corner of his mouth. "What a disobedient child, even Nichiren blades can't kill me now. What can you do? Become a part of my eternal life." Looking at Yuming flying towards his neck, Kibutsuji Muzan didn't care at all. Such a weak attack would not have any effect on him even if he slashed at him for a day and a night, and at the same time he also manipulated several tentacles on the belly wanted to devour Yuming directly. A huge sonic boom was produced from the tip of the axe. The axe was fired at a speed that had surpassed the limit of physical vision, like a giant cannonball being fired, and instantly opened a hole in Kibutsuji Muzan's neck that almost penetrated the entire body. There was a big hole in his neck, and through this terrifying hole, he could even see the countless squirming muscles inside, like the endless souls of the dead that had been swallowed by him were constantly churning in his body. The huge shock wave knocked away all the tentacles that wanted to wrap around Yuming's body. For a moment, Yuming, who was so small compared to Kibutsuji Muzan, was shining like a god of war, shining with endless light. However, even after suffering such an attack, Kibutsuji Muzan was not fatally hit by a single blow. Instead, the ferocious and mad look on his face became more intense, and the ghost blood sprinkled all over his body was like a ghost crawling out of the abyss. "Do you think this kind of attack will have any effect on an existence that is close to a god like me? Ha ha ha, I have to admit that your strength is indeed completely beyond my imagination, and you even have the basic conditions to become me." Quote. "But the more you struggle like this, the more my cells are urging me to swallow you up. Just let you see, the difference between my foundation accumulated over thousands of years and a half-assed like you, what a difference there is. Really, is my attack really useless? ... Listening to Yuming's questioning, Kibutsuji Muzan laughed even more wildly, as if the fruit of eternal life was close at hand. No matter how strong his attack power was, he was struggling weakly under his monster-like resilience, and the more he struggled, the more excited he became. Do you still need to ask? With an attack like yours, my body will recover automatically in less than 10 seconds, but you should have no weapons now, right? In the astonishing blow just now, the iron axe with a wooden handle brought by Haeyuming from Tanjiro's house has long been scrapped, and the wooden handle turned into dust like fireworks in the terrifying blow. In other words, in the eyes of Kibutsuji Muzan, the current Kuroba is almost like a lamb waiting to be slaughtered, and has lost the ability to resist him. As long as he rushed up again, the endless tentacles would completely devour him. To Kibutsuji Muzan's surprise, what he saw in Kuroba's eyes was not panic. It was a calm look that made him feel deeply uncomfortable. This kind of look gradually repeated with Ji Guiwan's indifferent look in his memory that almost beheaded him. A bone-deep chill rushed from Kibutsuji Muzan's body to his brain, and the fear that originated in his bones resurfaced in his heart again. Looking at Kibutsuji Muzan, who was stunned for no reason, Kuroba said jokingly, "If you can recover, then you can restore it to me." What did you do to me? Damn it, something cut off the connection between my cells." With Kuroba's voice, Kibutsuji Muzan was awakened from memory. He was surprised to find that the cell activity in the tissue damaged by Haeyuming seemed to be suppressed, and it didn't recover at all even after several breaths. This is a situation he has never encountered in thousands of years, and the unknown fear suddenly occupied his whole body. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.